Hey guys, in today's video I want to review the Netflix series about tennis called Breakpoint. And for you that don't know about it, I'm going to give you a quick summary. So it's a part one of this series that follows certain players around during tournaments, and there's going to be a part two that's going to be released in the middle of the year, most likely during Wimbledon. And it's 5 episodes. The first episode is with Kyrgios and Kokkinakis. The second episode is with Berrettini and Tomljanovic. The third episode is with Taylor Fritz and Maria Sakkari. The fourth episode is Badosa and Ons Jabeur. And the fifth episode is with Auger Aliassime and Ruud. So I'm going to make a prediction that the vast majority of my audience is not going to like this series that much. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this series was based on another series that Netflix has made about the Formula One, which was hugely successful, and it got a lot of people, especially in the United States, interested in the sport of Formula One. So this series is designed to draw people into tennis that don't know much about tennis. They even explain how the scoring system works. So it's not really meant for tennis fans that know all the players and know exactly what happened in the tournaments, but it's more meant to attract a new audience for the sport of tennis. Guys, I have to change locations because this is one of the coldest days of the year in Florida, and my cameraman, aka my mom, is bailing out. She can't handle the cold weather, so we're gonna have to continue this video in the car. And since my mom is here with me, this is a good opportunity to use someone who kind of lost touch with tennis. She really doesn't know the players all too well. She used to follow tennis a lot back in the day. My mom and I were the biggest Monica Seles fans when Monica Seles was beating Steffi Graf. We remember those days very fondly. But in any case, she has not watched a lot of tennis, doesn't know a lot of the players that were featured in the series. So what did you think of the Netflix series Breakpoint? You watched all 5 episodes. Did you like it? You can answer in Croatian, I'll put subtitles.
Pa mogu ti reći da mi se svidilo. Bilo mi je drago vidjeti u prirodi ono što se stvarno događa prije i poslije meča u glavama igrača, i to mi se svidjelo, stvarno mi se svidjelo.
Ko ti je bio najdraži igrač?
Oduševio me Fritz.
A reci mi zašto baš Fritz? Ja sam mislio da će ti biti ova Tomljanović najdraža.
Pa draga je meni Tomljanović jer je naša Hrvatica, odnosno ne živi sada u Hrvatskoj, ali je naš čovjek i uvijek ću navija za naše. Mislim, to je jedno drugo srce, jedna druga strana, nije samo tenis. Ali Fritz me jako oduševio s time što je bio ozlijeđen i žrtvovao je svoju nogu i dokazao je da može.
So you can see there my mom enjoyed the series, and this is a great thing for tennis because this series can draw new fans into the sport. But I'm going to tell you why I didn't like it. I'm going to start by telling you that The Journeyman is by far the best tennis documentary I've ever seen. This is an old movie about 2 tour players called Jeff Grant and Mark Keel. And this was so long ago that I don't think you can find this on Netflix. You might be able to find some clips of it on YouTube. You probably have to find it on VHS somewhere. But this is my favorite tennis documentary of all time because it shows these players who were ranked lower playing the Grand Slam tournaments, and it shows the real hard life that is professional tennis if you're not amongst the top. And what I love the most about Journeyman, that it was real. And I'm going to transition into why I personally didn't like Breakpoint that much, because it was the opposite of the Journeyman. It wasn't real. There was a lot of fake stuff in this series. So you just heard my mom talk about Fritz, how he was hurt and he ended up beating Rafa in the Indian Wells final. And they showed Fritz getting hurt in practice and then going out like the hero and then winning that match. But anyone that follows tennis, everybody knows that Rafa had a broken rib. And Fritz is not going to beat Rafa in an Indian Wells final on a windy day if Rafa is healthy. Everybody that follows tennis knows that to be true, but the Netflix producers decided to create the storyline that it was Fritz who was injured, beating the superstar Rafael Nadal in the final, and make him out to be the hero. That's what I didn't like. That part of the show was a little bit disingenuous. Jesi razumjela što sam rekao?
Ne.
Pa znaš što se dogodilo?
Šta?
Oni su pokazali da je Fritz bio ozlijeđen. Ali u biti Rafa Nadal ima slomljeno rebro. I nije mogao uopće igrati u tom finalu. I zato ga je ovaj dobio. I oni to nisu rekli. I ti nisi imala pojma da se to dogodilo.
Da.
Ti si rekla, bilo ti je drago kako je Fritz ozlijeđen, dobija meč. I nisi uopće znala da je ovaj Rafa bio ozlijeđen. Još gore nego on. And now let me tell you what I liked about the series. I really enjoyed seeing the backstory of the players, getting to know the players a little bit more, and especially in the case of Ons Jabeur. It was really inspirational to watch, and it was really nice to see the struggles she had to overcome to become the player that she is today. So that part I really enjoyed. I want to mention the absolute star of the show, in my opinion, was Andy Roddick. Andy Roddick did such a phenomenal job talking about Kyrgios or talking about other things in general. It was so fun to hear from him. In my opinion, he's the last great American player, former #1 Grand Slam champion, won all the big tournaments in the United States. And to hear what he has to say about the current players is something that was super interesting. I also really enjoyed listening to Maria Sharapova, who hasn't done a lot of interviews since she retired. And it was really interesting to hear her perspective on the current players as well. I started off this video by saying that you guys, my audience, who are knowledgeable tennis fans, are not going to like this series very much. And let me explain why. Because the outcome is certain. We already know what happened. It is showing, for example, in the Kyrgios episode, what happened at the Australian Open. We already know what happened. So for somebody that doesn't know anything about tennis, it's going to be super exciting. It's going to be drama for them. But for us, we already know exactly what happened last year. And also, tennis moves at an incredible fast pace. Last year, Rafa was on the top of the world, winning the Australian Open and the French Open. And this year, he is super close to retirement. So that's another reason that this show might be a little bit boring for us knowledgeable tennis fans, because we know exactly what's going to happen. But overall, I do think the series is great for tennis. I'm seeing a lot of buzz about it online. And hopefully, it's going to result in something that's super important, guys, because the tennis fan is aging. The same fans that watch Connors, McEnroe, Sampras, Agassi, or the big three, they're still the same fans who are watching tennis today. So generally, the age of a tennis fan is older. So hopefully this series can attract a newer, but also a younger audience to the game of tennis.